Imagine having your neck kneeled on for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, screaming you can't breathe, and the person kneeling never lets up. Nobody would ever go through that, right? Unfortunately, depending on your race, you just might have to go through it. Did you know that majority of the people who go through police brutality are African American? I have witnessed police brutality in my everyday life, not just on the news, but in my personal experience also. I have done a lot of research of police brutality and why it happens to people of my race mostly. For most of us, we can probably relate, but for the ones who can't, you could never say you understand. This could be you, but wouldn't you want to know some of the reasons or cause behind this, or maybe even my personal experience? Police brutality is far more than what you think it is. Today, I will be informing you on the victims of the police brutality, the reasons behind police brutality, and the statistics about police brutality. Let's discuss how some African Americans have died from police brutality. George Floyd was arrested for buying cigarettes with counterfeit $20 bill. Quote, counterfeiters are given up to 20 years in prison or up to $250,000 fine. Unquote, Richmond 2020. Even though George Floyd was wrong, the police officer was supposed to arrest him, not kill or harm him. Quote, 17 minutes after the first car there, he was already unconscious and pinned down by 3 officers showing no signs of life. Unquote, Richmond 2020. Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by a Louisville police officer in March during the botched raid in her apartment. No charge were announced against the other 2 officers who fired shots, and no one was charged with causing Mrs. Taylor's death. Breonna Taylor received no medical attention for more than 20 minutes after she was shot. She also did receive any justice. If it was not for these 2 terrible police brutality issues that happened in 2020, there could be more issues going on. Since both of these African Americans passed away, the African American community get together and protest for their justice. The most reasons for police brutality come from something that can't be changed. Quote, the most popular reason for police brutality is anti-black racism among members of mostly white police departments. Unquote, Moore 2020. Comparative braids are thought to have assumed a function in police fierce submits against other truly mistreated and minimized gatherings. Quote, for rookie officers, acceptance, success, and promotion within the department depends upon adoption, the attitudes, values, and practice of the group, which have historically been infused in anti-black racism. Unquote, Moore 2020. Officers are not trained to handle situations with a nonviolent approach. A key factor allowing a culture of police brutality to grow is that the law enforcement officers are not required to maintain a set level of accountability or transparency in their community interactions. Quote, the police moved in on the protesters unprovoked and without warning, wailing their bins, beating people from the car tops, shoving them to the groups, and firing pepper spray in their faces. Quote, they forced people to sit on the street with their hands tied behind their back, at times so tight their hands went numb. Police brutality is not something that just happens through one state, but even though throughout the entire world.